So, dear students, we are continuing our next class. In our last class, philosophy and preamble of our constitution we discussed. Through that we get an idea, idealism of our constitution. So after that, one more important topic we are going to discuss. It is also regarding the constitution only. So here the topic is the salient features of Indian Constitution. So what is the meaning of salient? Salient is nothing but important. Few important features of our constitution or Constitution of India. So one by one we will discuss and just listen carefully. The first one is the Indian Constitution is a written constitution. In constitutions there are two types are there based on this aspect. That is, one is written constitution, second one is unwritten constitution. So our constitution of India is a written constitution and it is the lengthiest constitution in the world. Lengthiest, very lengthy one. Not only that, bulkiest constitution, very fat. So many issues are mentioned in our constitution, specified in our constitution, so that it become lengthiest and bulkiest. So the first feature is the Indian Constitution is the written lengthiest bulkiest constitution. You know that for the writing of this constitution nearly it took 2 years, 11 months, 18 days nearly approximately. So it specifies everything of our people related aspects, that is SC ST reservations, like that UPPSC and state organizations and aspects of parliament, aspects of election commission. In this way every breadth and length of corner of country's activities are very clearly mentioned, so that it become lengthiest and bulkiest. If you go for in detail in this constitution, at the preparation time there are 395 articles are there. Those 395 articles are for the convenience purpose. Total constitution has been divided into 22 parts and there are 8 schedules are there. These are the at the time of constitution preparation. At the time of constitution preparation, article says the thing and parts for the purpose of reading to find out. So constitution is divided into 22 parts. What is the meaning of schedule? Schedule is the list or group of some articles. For example, if you take first schedule is there. This first schedule is going to discuss 1 to 4 articles in our constitution. Those articles describes that union and states of our country. In this way, there is a categories of list of groups are there. They are according to their nature kept under one schedule. This is the basic meaning of the schedule. Now the constitution, now it is having 448 articles, 25 parts and 12 schedules. That means after independence till these articles, few new articles are inserted. Because of this only the schedules are also increased. So the basic Indian constitution is written, lengthiest, bulkiest constitution. It is the first feature of Indian constitution. The next one is, as soon as India adopted the constitution, India became sovereign, socialistic, secular, democratic republic. Our country's nature has totally changed as soon as it adopted the constitution. Our constitution makers called India like sovereign, socialistic, secular, democratic republic country. In our last class, we discussed this terminology, sovereign, supreme power in its internal, external activities, socialistic, socialism, elimination of inequalities, secular, all religions are equal, no state religion, no religion will be given the preference, democratic, people are the monarchy, the power is vested in the hands of the people, republic, the executive or head of the state is the elected one, that is President of India is the elected person. And the next one, combination of rigidity and flexibility. Here you have to understand the concept of rigidity and flexibility. In our first year class on the topic of types of constitution, we discussed that based on the amendment process, based on the amendment process of the constitution, constitutions are divided into two types. One is the flexible constitution, other one is the rigid constitution. This is based on amendment process. What is the meaning of amendment? Amendment is nothing but inclusion or exclusion of law. Inclusion or exclusion of law according to the time. So whenever the amendment process is easy, that constitution is considered as the flexible constitution. Whenever the process of amendment is quite hard, then such constitution is considered as the rigid constitution. Here, if you take this flexibility and rigid, our Indian constitution adopted both the methods of the amendment process. For some parts like changing of the name of the states and fixation of the boundaries of the state, all are related to the flexible aspects, whereas fundamental rights, powers of president, these can be amended through the rigid process. So the flexible amendment is related to the simple majority, whereas rigid method is related to the 2/3 majority. That means 2/3 of the members of the legislature should support such resolution, and here only some special majority cases are also specified in our constitution. Special majority means after 2/3 majority, if such resolution is accepted by the Union Parliament, along with Union Parliament, 50% of the states also should approve. That is the special majority. So, for few parts, Indian constitution adopted flexible method. For few parts of amendments of the constitution, Indian constitution adopted the rigid method. In this way, our constitution makers combined flexibility and rigid methods are adopted for the amendment of the constitution. And the next one, unitary and federal features. In first year, we learned the meaning of the unitary government and federal government. Unitary is the single central government. Federal is the existence of two governments and division of the powers between these two levels of government. If you take for our Indian concern, in emergency situations, India appears as the unitary government. In normal situations, India appears as the federal government. In this way, our constitution makers have been adopted unitary features and federal features. For example, single citizenship, single election commission, and governor act as the agent of the center. These are all the examples. Whereas federal means bicameralism, representation of the states in the upper house of the Rajya Sabha. Like these, generally considered as the federal features. In this way, there is a cooperative federalism is there by the concept of this point. And the next one, parliamentary government. Indian constitution makers adopted the form of parliamentary government for the people of India. It is taken from the British or Britain government, adopted from Britain government. But here there is a quite difference is there. Britain is not a republic because its executive or head of the state is not an elected one, whereas India is the republic. That republic concept have been adopted from the Ireland government or Irish constitution. Here two types of executives: nominal executive, real executive. Nominal executive is the president, real executive is the prime minister and council of ministers, parliament, upper house, lower house. This is the bicameralism. These are the basic features of Indian parliamentary system. And next one, fundamental rights. You know that these are very specific individual rights without which a man cannot be survive in the existing society. These are fundamentally required for every human being. At the beginning, there were 7 fundamental rights are there, but because of few reasons, right to property was deleted from the fundamental rights topic, inserted in the directive principles of state policy, so that there are only now 6 fundamental rights are there. Why right to property was deleted, we will discuss in our second lesson ongoing. So the 6 fundamental rights are right to equality, right to freedom, right to religion, right against exploitation, cultural and educational rights, and the 6th one is the right to constitutional remedies. We are going to discuss every right in our next chapter in our second unit. And the next feature is the directive principles of state policy. These are the directions to the existing government. Every government should follow some of the principles in its policies. That is nothing but directive principles of the state policies. These are under the articles of 36 to 51 in the 4th part of the Constitution. Fundamental rights are in 3rd part from 12 to 35 of the Indian Constitution. Fundamental rights reflects the democratic nature, whereas these directive principles transform the government into a welfare state. They are welfare oriented, Gandhian oriented, intellectual oriented. Directive principles of state policies are there in our Constitution. We will discuss about them in our second unit. Basically, for example, provision of the minimum wages, provision of the handicapped pension, provision of the Asara pension. These are come under the scope of the directive principles of state policy. That means government has to take care of to all type of people. This is the basic theme of the DPSPs. Because of that only these transform the country into a welfare country. Okay, thank you. In our next class, we are going to discuss regarding salient features only. More 7 points are there. By discussing the topic, we are going to conclude the first unit. Okay, thank you.